You the top stories on Nigerian newspapers this morning. Stay with us. All right, now time to look at the top stories on the papers this morning, beginning with the Vanguard newspaper. And understandably, that meeting between the president and the 36 governors is like the most paramount, as we will be seeing. Insecurity, that's the lead story on the Vanguard. Tinubu governors agree on state police to work with governors, National Assembly to put mechanism to engendered state police, and the president orders NSA, IGP, DSS to deal with foodstuff hoarders. There are many riders there, and it has been reflected in the report you just saw. Ahead of the Edo governorship election, your decision not final. Ganduje tells Uzodima's primary election committee, and Fubara's selective implementation of agreement putting Rivers on edge. Quickly now to the Daily Independent regarding the rising insecurity. Well, that's the slant of the lead story. President Tinubu governors agree to consider state police brainstorm on ways to boost food production, and FG to train forest rangers vows no food importation. FG also begins enforcement of 12 years minimum age for apprenticeship. Obi calls for independent auditors to resolve 3.5 billion naira Labour Party scandal, external forces using LP members to destabilize the party. That's according to Abure denies diverting 3.5 billion naira. On the Nation, Tinubu governors agree on state police war on food crisis. States get nod to strengthen forest guards in battle against kidnappers and bandits. And there are resolutions on what governors should do, among which are payment of arrears of workers and pensioners' salaries, and making welfare, prosperity of people a priority. CBN asks banks, to withhold international oil companies' export proceeds for 90 days. And banks induce customers to convert dollar in account to naira. These are some of the stories on the front page of the Nation. The Leadership Friday is also leading with this latest resolution, or latest list of resolutions to tackle insecurity, as agreed by President Tinubu and governors. Of course, they opt for state police and the rule out food importation to tackle hardship. In the meantime, food headline inflation spiked to 35.4%, 29.9% as well. And support, according to the Leadership Friday, swells for parliamentary system being advocated by a crop of lawmakers at the House of Representatives. Finally, with me is this Nigeria. 9.6 billion naira PNID scam. $9.6 billion PNID scam. I beg your pardon. Interpol arrests fleeing Britain in Italy. And other stories there. We will not allow illegal settlements, markets, hamper road construction. That's according to FCTA. SANU, NASU, top associations across the nation's tertiary institutions kick as FG plans to pay ASU withheld 4 months' salaries. Ibrahim.
Yes, very quickly. Daily Trust is the first. Insecurity, Tinubu governors more state police. They want to kill Nigeria finally, ex-AIGF in Alegu. It's a dangerous move, says Professor Jibril Ibrahim. The president rules out food importation. Parents of students abroad battle to pay fees. Truck owners to stop lifting petrol on Monday. That's about it for Daily Trust. Next is the blueprint. Federal government states mauled state police to secure over 230 million Nigerians. Bandits kill over 60 vigilante members, civilians in Zamfara. On the bottom strip, amidst rising cost of living, Nigeria's inflation surges to 29.9% in January. That's about it for the Blueprint newspaper. Next is the First newspaper. Amid hunger, Tinubu says no plan for price control board food importation, orders security agencies to apprehend merchants holding foodstuffs. Burkina Faso, Mali, Niger confirm plan to form new confederation. Police arrest two prophets. Others for killing woman for money ritual in Ogun. Labour Party's 3.5 billion naira scandal. Obi speaks up, renders presidential campaign account as party chairman challenges suspended treasurer to prove fraud allegation. Next is the Punch newspaper. OPS rejects food imports, backs clamp down on hoarders. Food imports will kill local production, says private sector, as Tinubu governors rule out importation. Man in custody for allegedly killing neighbor over goats, and tanker operators threaten to stop petrol lifting on Monday. Next is Salient Times. Emefiele documents used to pay election observers $6.2 million, not from my office. Boss Mustafa testifies. More hardship for Nigerians as prices of rice, beans, gari, others spike by 50%. 60 years retirement age. Concerned staff of FMC Abeokuta Rides Head of Service calls for removal of Professor Musa Olomo. And then sleeping driver rams into truck, kills 5, injures 12 on Lagos-Ibadan Expressway. Next is the Guardian newspaper. Unsupporting behavior, abandoned facilities dot landscape, retired sports potential growth. Federal government governors partner on state police. Food crisis, blame states for hardship faced by citizens. NNPC Total Energies JV achieves zero routine gas flare, and food price crisis worsens misery as inflation rises by 7.48% under President Tinubu. Next is the Daily Times. Fuel crisis looms as tanker owners set to stop lifting petrol on Monday. Tinubu gives in on state police, blames orders for food crisis. Man knocks IMF on electricity subsidy removal. Prices soar as food inflation tips at 35%, and federal government to settle $2.16 billion outstanding debt to gas producers. Next is Nigerian News Direct. FX repatriation. CBN bars oil firms from remitting 100% revenue abroad. Halts payments of PTA in cash. Tinubu reappoints NAFDAC DG, PCN CEO, others in health sector. Above the masthead, federal government withdraws treason charges against Shore, and customs, Senate passes customs 5.079 trillion naira 2024 budget. Platform Times is next. Southwest states plunge deeper into debt, allocating 214.7 billion naira for governors' offices amid economic crisis. Ogun commissions 22.74 hectares of NMA estate as Abiodun promises support. Nigerian customs seized 19.6 million naira worth of sex enhancement drugs in Sokoto operations. And 3 Amotekun Corps members injured after clash with herdsmen in Osun. That's about it for the platform. Okay, let me take this. U.S. returns 63 looted Benin bronzes to Nigeria. Chargé d'Affaires reveals. Nature News is last but not least. Exclusive Super Eagles jersey made of recycled plastic bottles. Interesting. Nike says Echo jersey helps athletes stay dry. Nigeria brace up for excessive heat. NIMET warns not again. Anambra launches 10 million naira house remodeling competition for nature landlords. Kwara government cracks down on illegal deforestation. Lastly, NEDC empowers youth for greener future. That's about it for the newspapers of a review this morning.
Right, and as we have seen, the decision among the federal government and governors of the federation, as well as leaders of the Nigerian security agencies, so to speak, those resolutions, especially the creation of state police, after so much back and forth, will form another crucial chunk of discussions. Reactions are already pouring in. I take it from your part, you seem to have more of the reactions, especially people expressing, saying they are not sure whether this will be the solution to the insecurity in the land. People still expressing sentiments that governors could still abuse the state police idea. And of course, now is the time for them to put all these things into proper perspectives before they come up with, this as a solution.
Trust me, there is nothing that is not being abused in this country or anywhere in the world. It's just you have to look at the advantages over the disadvantages. Which one outweighs the other. I feel having state police is still the way to go because we have the federal police and we have the federal security architecture, but it's not exactly delivering on what we expect it to be in saving the lives and property of the citizenry. So I feel having state police, but what are the modalities? What system do we want to copy? How do we want to go about this? Those are so many questions to be answered. But I must say kudos to us all, to journalists, because we kept talking about the imperative of establishing state police to ensure proper security, policing of our communities. And traditional rulers too, they also have very interesting role to play. But since the Constitution has subverted them, below under the what do we call it? The authority, the constituted authority. Yeah, so they also need to play a very significant role in this police. So we have the federal, we'll have the state, we also have the local governments, policing of entire country, geographical, space of this country. So it's so many conversations to have regarding the establishment of state police.
Right, and so now that we have reached this point, it behoves on everyone to ensure that everyone plays their part. If there are still lingering concerns as to the potential abuse by state governors to this solution that many people have been canvassing for, and now that they have met with the president and everybody has agreed and the president has called for fine-tuning of strategies now for an effective implementation, we indeed hope that we can get past this and security is enshrined